Hi everyone, today I want to talk about how artificial intelligence can be used to improve disaster response and disaster relief. As I'm sure you're aware with the situation in Beirut, with last week's explosion, over 200 people have lost their lives, many are still missing, and over 300,000 people have been displaced from their homes. And it's been really heartwarming to see how everyone is coming together and self-organizing, going into the homes and sweeping it up and preparing it one at a time, creating a base camp where they can provide food and funding for those in need. But the people who are helping are they themselves traumatized. And so I couldn't help but think, how can we use advanced technologies? How can we use AI to, make the situation a bit easier for everyone? So how can AI help Beirut? If you're new here, my name is Alentina and I'm a PhD candidate at the University of Cambridge researching organizational behavior and artificial intelligence. If you're interested in the human side of AI, then please consider subscribing to my channel. So in today's video, I'd like to talk about the different ways that AI can help ease the situation to lessen the impact on human loss, material loss, and economic loss in Beirut. So there are a few things I'd like to cover. The first is, how do we minimize further damage? The second is, how can we use AI to help find missing bodies? How can we deal with the debris? And how can we organize humanitarian efforts for food and fund distribution more efficiently? So how can we help minimize further damage? As I was watching Instagram stories of people going into the homes to help clean it up so that the people can move back into their homes, I couldn't help but be worried about foundational structural damages. Even just looking at some of the pictures and the videos, you can see cracks on the sides, and so cracks or gaps, all of that is just very worrisome. Some posts were calling for architects and engineers to go and assess these buildings, but to think that over 300,000 people have been displaced, that's a lot of manual labor. So how can AI help, reduce this damage or to ease up the rebuilding process? So as a first step, the NASA ARIA team has already posted the affected areas using satellite radar images, and this is useful to see the most hard-hit areas mapped out. But it's still a bit broad. What we can do is we can actually get the database from the city about all the buildings, so what year it was built, what type of a building it is, and what construction materials were used. Because depending on how old the building is or what materials were used, then the explosion will have a different effect on it. So then we can get this data, run it through an AI system that's been trained on understanding shock waves, and then provide some sort of a rating or a probability score of which buildings are more likely to have some sort of foundational structural damage or cracks or gaps or whatever it may be, and then this can prioritize those buildings in reconstruction and rebuilding efforts. Another area of concern has been locating the missing bodies. Were they stuck under the rubble? Unfortunately, since it's been over a week now, they won't be alive, but at least we can use snake bots to find the bodies and bring some sort of peace to their families. So how these snake bots work is that they're tiny, so only 5 centimeters thick and 1 meter long, with a lot of joints that make it easy to move through tight spaces. So spaces where humans can't get through, the snake bots can get through that. And so they have headlights and cameras so that the rescue team can remotely see what's under the rubble and control its movements. These were used after the 2017 Mexico earthquake, and since then the engineers have improved the technology. With the Mexico earthquake, the Red Cross invited snake bots for the search and rescue efforts, and I do hope that the Lebanese Red Cross may also initiate the same efforts to find the missing bodies. And of course, with all the rubble, there's also a lot of debris, which isn't good for human health or environmental health. So how can AI help with this concern? In this case, we can use drones to map out and identify areas of debris. and we can use robots to sort out the debris and trash. Because a lot of the material can be recycled and reused, we want to make sure that we're not just dumping it. And this is not only good environmentally, but economically as well, so that it can be reused to rebuild the city. The next area of concern is organizing and coordinating humanitarian efforts. So whether that is food preparation and distribution or funding allocation. I have to say that this situation really made me love and appreciate social media because, you know, people were posting the names and numbers of families in most need, and others were responding immediately to go and help them out. But to think that 300,000 people have been displaced from their homes, then this creates a lot of manual labor, and it may be difficult to do it in a timely manner. So I was thinking, okay, how can we use AI to speed up this process and to, you know, get people the help they need as soon as possible? So one way that we can do this is that people who are affected can upload images of their home and put in details of their family size, their needs, their surgery costs, whatever it may be. And the AI system can use image classification to determine the cost of damage, and we can use other methods to prioritize those in the most critical state and distribute the funding as necessary. And NGOs, charities, or private funders can also have access to this platform so that they know how to prioritize needs to those who need it straight away. So there's a lot to be done, but hopefully with advanced technology and AI, we can somehow speed up this process and make it more efficient so that the people who really are in need, whether that's for their home or a surgery or food or whatever it may be, so that they can get the help as soon as possible. My heart really goes out to everyone who has been affected by this. It's been really heartbreaking to watch all the stories and just see what everyone is going through. But seeing how people are coming together is also really heartwarming and gives hope. So let's all do our part in helping Beirut, helping the people of Beirut in any way that we can. If you have the means, please do consider donating to their hospitals and food banks. And if you think that this video might be useful to anyone to, you know, speed up the process and to get AI to help make it more efficient, then please feel free to share it with them. That's it for today. Thank you so much for watching this and spending a part of your time with me. I hope you found it helpful, and yeah, see you next time. And until then, take care and stay safe.